Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Good Days Only podcast, bringing you good coffee, good vibes, and good music. A podcast for all, bringing you the honest caffeine breakdowns and reviews, giving you a little sprinkle, some good news. Add some positivity to your day during these stressful times. And last but not least, going to be rounding off the podcast here with a little parting gift for y'all. To get you through the week, to help get you, your morale going in the mornings. Let you know what I'll be bumping in my headphones this week. Episode 6 today. What, dude? Wow. Thank you all. Thank you again for tuning in and rocking with your boy. Exciting things happened this last week. We had our first ever winner of the Good Days Only caffeine giveaway. More to come on that in the good news section a little bit later here. Went out there and voted, and I urge you to please do the same. I know it can seem like a daunting task, with the papers and the filling out the ballots and the this and the that's and all the words, and we don't really even know what a lot of those words mean, so you gotta Google it. It's easy to just have your ballot sit on the counter. I know that firsthand. I mean, ballots that we got here sat on the counter for like 2 weeks. Not proud of it, but it's a thing. Just please vote if you are able. I didn't ever start this podcast with any intentions of getting political, so this is probably as political as I will ever get on here. But yes, please vote. But let's move on, all right? Without further ado, again, episode 6, let's get into the caffeine breakdown. And for the caffeine breakdown, dude, wow, episode 6. What? Wow. I can't believe that, episode 6. But here are the 5 categories again. The coffee name and roaster, all right? The message in the background, that's number 1. Number 2, the appearance and packaging. Number 3, the roast type, and numbers 4 and 5, gonna combine these again, same as last episode, the brew style and the coffee grind type. I think it just kind of flows better. And hey, changing process here, still the learning process, so that's okay. But today, let's get into number 1. Today we have a familiar name. The coffee we got brewing here today is from the one and only Conversatio Coffee Roasters. Covered one of the coffees from them in episode 2, I believe. Episode 2. It's a family-owned and operated company located in Othello, Washington. Initially the dream of a coffee enthusiast roasting a smooth, delicious cup. It grew into a business encouraging people to connect through the love of good coffee. The term conversatio, as defined by the roasters, is the act of living with or a way of life within community. Each of their coffee bags offers a unique conversation to initiate a deeper connection within your community and maybe even change the world. I think many of us can agree some of the best conversations happen over a cup of joe, a cup of coffee. Whether that be with family, friends, potential employers. Hey, that's why coffee shops are even a thing, right? Like, let's go meet up and have a cup of coffee and a little chat. This is their Indonesian coffee. We had the pleasure of trying one of the beans put out by them back in episode 2. We tried the Mexican Dark, as I had mentioned. We gave that a rating of 9.5. The Indonesian blend here, or the Indonesian, rather, not a blend, but just the Indonesian. Checked out their website, and they actually have new coffee coming out as well from Brazil. They also have others from Ethiopia, Uganda, and Colombia. So all over the world, sourcing from all over the world. To give you your perfect cup of joe, your ideal, taste. Everybody's taste is a little bit different. So let me get a little sip real quick here. And this Indonesian from the island of Sumatra. This is an Indonesian island that produces half of the country's coffee. Fun fact, Sumatra is the 6th largest island in the world, dude. That's cool, didn't know that. Though this island produces Robusta beans mainly, Conversatio still seeks their Arabica beans from the northern region of Sumatra. The process of wet hulling, Hulling, which is unique to Sumatra, semi-washes the beans. This allows the pulp to ferment and dry in the sun to just the right moisture level. A premium taste with malty flavors and notes of chocolate. Such a full body taste, sure to satisfy medium and dark roast lovers. That's the message that's put out there by Conversatio. And yes, it did. Yes, it did. To this medium and dark roast lover. So thank you for that, Conversatio. Again, if you tuned into episode 2, you know I was very happy with the packaging for that Mexican dark. And this is the same packaging. Yes, it's the brown bag again. But this one, very sturdy. Nice and thick. Thick with 2 C's. It makes me feel like the beans will be kept fresh in there, you know, in that stand-up zipper pouch. Solid all around. Make sure that there's a proper seal on the bag so we don't dry out, you know, over a week or 2. So great job on this, Conversatio. Again, I got the 8-ounce bag here. They also have the 1-pound bag and the 5-pound bags. Again, not really sure with the 5-pound bags. The question that we have today, and if you listen to episode 2, you can go back and listen to that and my answer for that. But the question that we got on the bag today is a little bit deeper here, a little bit more introspective. Where do values come from? Which is a great question. What are values? The definition of a value as a noun: a person's principles or standard of behavior, one's judgment of what is important in life. And this one actually, this one really made me think, about my values and how these have come to be what they are. And I think for me, like many people, it's a mixture of values taught to me by my parents. Some of those things that were, enforced. That might be a dramatic term for it, but in our family, growing up, things like respect, compassion, initiative, discipline, independence. We were always taught to be very independent. These are just to name a few of those. They're all great values to have, and I'm appreciative that these were instilled in me from a young age. But this question of where do values come from is interesting, because I don't think you can really pinpoint just one place that they come from. Like creativity, imagination, those are great values to have as well, to value creativity. Those were not really things that were ever in the forefront, things that my parents really valued or stressed to my siblings and I growing up. But I feel that now as an adult, I value these things much more, and I can appreciate I can appreciate somebody that has these values and respect their point of view and how they go about life, Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. So I think there are different areas of life that values come from. Some of those you are taught at a young age, and some of them you kind of pick up as you evolve and grow into your own human, your own person. But wow. See, that's a deep question. Once again, Conversatio, taking me down the rabbit hole. So this brings us to the roast type here. Okay, the roast type, this Indonesian, brings us a medium to dark roast. As I mentioned before, A great full body here, less acidity, malty flavors, as mentioned, which personally, I think that's the first time I've really ever tasted malty flavors in a coffee, and honestly not sure if I'm a fan or not. I think it's one of those things that might just be an acquired taste. Make a little sip real quick. Yeah, so you can definitely taste that malt. Yeah, but I'm not sure if that I'm a big fan of that. But to each their own. To each their own. Some people might really love this. After a little bit more exposure, to this taste. I mentioned earlier that Sumatra is unique in that they perform a process known as wet hulling, which emphasizes the body on the coffee and mutes the acidity, which is true here. Because this is not a very acidic coffee, very low acidity, and a nice full body. This process is specific to Sumatra in Indonesia and deviates from more common methods. And this is not to be confused with the wet process, also known as washed process. But there's also the dry or natural process, and also a honey or pulped process. Those are the other three that are more common. These processes all have to do with how the beans are treated after they are picked. And they all give you different outcomes in terms of flavor, and, will be used for specific goals for the beans. For these beans, though, we have the wet hull process, where the beans are taken from the coffee cherry a lot quicker, a lot sooner. It's a quicker turnaround time, but this means that the beans are very fragile inside those cherries when they're coming off, so you got to be careful with that. For these beans, we got the wet hull. And for our wet hulled medium dark Indonesian coffee from Conversacio, we have these, subtle, mellow aromas for this bean, and I tried actually several different brewing methods. We did, of course, the pour over, a medium fine grind, something that resembles maybe a granulated sugar of fine, and this flavor, a little bit malty here, and that's what I'm sipping on here. I can definitely taste a little bit of the chocolatey in there, like a nice dark cacao, mild aromas on the nose, subtle with the chocolate in the front as well, and not too harsh on the aftertaste. So very good overall. I did try the drip as well, which I used the more medium grind for. And this grind, you might think of as maybe compared to like the coarseness of sand, maybe. Yeah, sand, a good sand, nice sandy beach. For this flavor, a little bit less malty, more acidity on that though. Still the mellow aroma, but actually a little bit more chocolate on the aroma as well. With this one, it was just tougher to really control the heat of the water, the rate at which it was pouring over the grinds, and also just the coverage of the grinds, because it's inside of the machine, inside of the filter, the coffee maker. So it was kind of tough to gauge. I was trying to see if all of the grounds were covered, but kind of tougher to tell there. So that definitely played a part to the difference in flavors. But all in all, still solid. But we did the French press as well, which was a more coarse grind, something like a coarse salt you might find in a salt grinder, or something of that sort. And this flavor was definitely malty, which was interesting. I could taste some hints of the oats there, more pronounced on the tip of the tongue and on the aftertaste, actually. A little bit more of like some peppery spice on the back end as well. And that aftertaste was very malty. Still a full body, though. Overall, very good. It's interesting trying all the different brew styles with the different grind types and tasting the subtle differences in flavors. All in all, once again, very pleased with this coffee from Conversation. Not blown away by this one. Gonna admit that, not blown away. But yes, very pleased. I appreciate the background story, encouraging people to connect through the love of coffee. And the flavor profile here was pretty spot on what we were expecting from the tasting notes provided, which I like. I like the medium to dark roast, of course, the full body. A little thrown off by the malty flavors personally, but again, that's just a personal preference. And I think that's the first time I've ever tried that. For me, overall, I'm going to give this one, let me get a little sip real quick. Yeah, I'm going to give this one a 8.5. Yeah, 8.5 out of 10. That is a solid B. And I'm going to, subtract the 1 there for the malty flavor. I'm just not sure if I'm a fan yet. And then, minus 0.5 because we still got the brown paper bag. And truly no real creativity to this name. I guess the talk is in the bean, though, right? The talk is in the bean, and they'd let us know where they got it from, which I appreciate. But with this, hey, we're done with the caffeine breakdown today. Get yourself some Conversation coffee. Visit them on their website. Hit them up on the Instagram. Conversation, spelled like conversation without the N. And then Coffee Roasters. Look them up. Very good coffees coming out from over there. And I will definitely be exploring and trying some more of their coffees that they're putting out. That new one coming from Brazil. Excited about that. Brazil. But let's move into the good news section for this week. All right. And good news here. Winner chicken dinner. Ooh, the winner of the first ever Good Days Only caffeine giveaway. Can I get a drum roll? Shout out to @Beckham_Austin. Hey, let's go. And a great choice will be receiving a 1 pound bag of the Mexican Dark from Conversation that we were just mentioning, as well as a 12-ounce bag from Tony's Coffee Roasters, the Café Carmelita. Congratulations, my man. Congratulations to you. And I really think you will enjoy those coffees. Shout out to @Beckham_Austin. And I want to let you all know, if you ever need a dope-ass photographer, some top-notch videographer skills, hit your boy's business up. It's called Out of Box Studios. That's OUTTABOX, Out of Box Studios. Hey, I got you on the wedding media, your quinceañeras, if you need that. If you need some cinematic footage, you need a video edited, some pictures clean and professionally polished, hit them up. That's Out of Box Studios. Give them a follow on the Facebook page. Give them a like over there. And let me let you in on a little spicy inside info. The word on the street is that there may be a collab in the future. GDO and Out of Box Studios. Stay tuned. And thank you to all of you that participated, everybody else out there. I'm looking forward to the next caffeine giveaway because that was a lot of fun. Maybe doing this every 5 episodes. I don't know. Let's stay tuned to find out. And definitely want to be doing this again because, again, that was a lot of fun. And it was great interacting with everybody and you guys sending me the messages and just getting to know, that you guys are listening. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Everybody out there. But this is as good a time as ever to announce that after much deliberation and conversation with my top advisors, I have come to the decision of releasing episodes bi-weekly, every 2 weeks. Now, I know you might be wondering, why the heck am I doing that? And I promise, no, it's not you, it's me. But, no, in all seriousness, after getting the last 5 episodes and, this 6th one under the belt, the weekly drops have been fun. It's been a lot of fun. It's felt a bit rushed at times. And I don't want that feeling. I don't want that feeling personally, and I don't want that feeling being presented in the show, in what you guys are listening to. I want to bring you as good quality content as possible. And so the good news from this and the positive takeaway, greater quality content, with more time between shows. And I'm excited for that. And, got some ideas, some plans for future episodes. Still plan on the episodes coming out on Mondays, but now they will be every other week instead of weekly. Okay? But for now, let's get into some more good news happening around the world. And whales, dude? Killer whales? I don't know if people like that name these days. Killer whales. So we'll call them orcas. Let's call them orcas. They got multiple names. And I know, again, with the marine life here. But this is awesome, and came across this while scrolling through social media. Some awesome videos of southern resident orcas paying the Puget Sound a visit. They were recorded last week off the coast of Maury Island in the Sound here around Seattle. And this is, I guess, a very popular spot for whale watching, I guess due to the narrowing of the channel at that point, which is more promising for those hoping to lay some eyes on some majestic black and white orcas. The Holsteins of the ocean, some might call them. Shout out to all my 4-H and FFA fam out there that knows what I'm talking about with that reference. But we see some videos and pictures of these bicolor water pandas. In one video, we see babies, which is always a great sign, hoping that they grow to be full-grown adults and live very long and prosperous lives. An amazing picture was also taken of a pregnant mama that breached the water, which is also pretty impressive to be able to, get all that weight out of the water. Like, dang, mama. Mama whale blows the competition out of the water. One thing I do wish was different, though, was the naming for these pods and the whales. Why are we naming these animals J46 Star? Like, what, dude? Am I in a car shop? Am I at the mechanics, dude? Like, hey, hand me that J46 Star so I can fit the torque wrench over the goddamn alternator. I mean, I get it. I mean, it's probably much easier for tracking or something, and they don't want us to get attached to the animals or whatever reasons, but why can't we name them something a little bit more fun, It doesn't have to be numbers and letters. It doesn't have to be a human name either. Name them Gumbo and Jambalaya. Come on. Or like poutine and pork chop. 2 peas in a pod. See? Something like that. A little bit more playful. Just saying. That'd be nice. There goes Jambalaya. But all great news, made me smile, and look those articles up. It's pretty cool, especially if you're in the greater Seattle area, and maybe you'll get into whale watching. Who knows? It's pretty awesome when you get out there and you realize, whoa, these creatures are gigantic, and they're just floating around in the water at all times. It still blows my mind. It's just crazy. But let's get into the maybe new recurring segment Not sure. Got some positive feedback here from several of you. So here are some things to look forward to this upcoming week. Wednesday, October 28th, it is National First Responders Day, recognizing the heroic men and women who make it their business to take immediate action when disaster strikes. Not sure what a first responder does. Just think about 9/11. For a moment, firefighters, police officers, paramedics, all those others that were rushing into, the lower Manhattan, while others were evacuating, or they were helping evacuate others. Whether you've had your own emergency or not, it's not hard to understand and appreciate the dangers that come with that and the difficult work that they do. So please thank any of our first responders out there. If you have one in your life, or somebody that has a family member that is a first responder, and those that are still out there fighting those wildfires that are still happening, thank you again. Thank you. Wednesday, it's also National Chocolate Day. So come on, hey, maybe show those first responders that you know in your life some love by gifting them their favorite chocolate. Thursday, October 29th, it is National Cat Day. National Gatito Day. That means little cat or kitten for all my gatito lovers out there. And of course, Saturday, October 31st, Halloween. Interesting things here. I actually kind of went down the rabbit hole on this one as well. And there's a lot of Halloween influence and practices that actually date back to like centuries, dude. Originally, it was more connected with religious beliefs. Halloween was actually as part of Roman paganism. They brought an apple tree, symbolic of Pomona, the goddess of plenty, during an annual festival that they had back in the days. Young marriage-minded people bit into these apples floating in water. According to the beliefs, whoever bit into the apples was next to marry. But it's now known as a Halloween fan favorite. Yes, there's a lot of information out there about Halloween and the origins, and you can dive into all of these different avenues. But some more interesting things that I found here and worth mentioning. Some ancient people back in the days that lived in parts that are now modern day Ireland and part of northern France in the UK. The Celts, C-E-L-T. They had a Celtic fire festival of Samhain, S-A-M-H-A-I-N, where they celebrated the end of harvest, and they partied hardy to celebrate the start of a new year on November 1st. The pagans wore costumes and lit fires to help keep the bad spirits away. With the dark nights of winter representing death, the Celts believed that on October 31st, the dead returned to walk amongst the living, which could be related to zombie-type creatures. Not to be confused with Ja Rule's Fire Festival. That was a big flop. These fire festivals were more lit. Let me get a little sip. Let me just pour a little bit more out right here for the homies. Conversation. Thank you for this delicious cup of joe. But yes, so now we know, Halloween is a day celebrated across the U.S. The more modern Halloween as we know it kind of started in the 19th century as a spooky day and night filled with ghouls and ghosts and haunted mansions. Now, and trick-or-treating. The term trick-or-treating was actually first used in Alberta, Canada in 1927. Trick-or-treating is said to stem from the practice of souling, which is a medieval practice where churchgoers would go between different parishes and ask the rich for pastries, which were known as soul cakes. In return, they would pray for the souls of them and their friends. Aw, how thoughtful. That's great. So a lot of history behind Halloween. And sorry, that was kind of like all over the place there, but those were just some things that I kind of picked up on while I was looking into it. And if you have not already, it's very interesting. If you look into kind of the origins and the initial religious beliefs and how it's all transitioned into what we know now, like everybody wear a rubber mask or paint your face, and we have a little bit more fun with it these days. I think they were a little bit more serious about trying to keep spirits away and whatnot back in the days. But since the next episode will not be airing next week, we have another date to really look forward to that's happening the next week. For those that like sleeping in, daylight savings time will be happening. We're going to be falling back, all right, an hour on Sunday, November 1st. Remember to set your clock, all right? Tick-tock, tick-tock. But now it's time for the weekly whistle. And today, recording this on a Saturday, and so today is October 24th, and today it is this artist's birthday. So, shout out to a man that is known by many aliases, rapper, singer, songwriter, artiste. Some of you may know him as Jimmy Brooks from Degrassi. He is referred to as the Sixth God, Drizzy. That's right, El Drake, Drake, off stage, known as Aubrey Drake Graham. That is his full name, hailing from Toronto, Canada, as he refers to in many of his songs, The Six. This could be a reference to the most common area codes in Toronto, 416 and 647, or a reference to the constituent municipalities that were amalgamated in 1998 to form what we now call Toronto. Toronto is made up of East York, Etobicoke, East York, Etobicoke, North York, Scarborough, York, and the city of Toronto. So, in other words, all these smaller units were joined or combined together to make a larger unit or structure, kind of like New York and the 5 boroughs. It was tough trying to decide what I wanted to cover for this artist, because the list of songs that he has put out that I like, it's extensive. I like many off of all of his albums. Essentially, he has hits on every album, I think. So it was tough. In my opinion, all of these hits and dating back as far as he's been in the game, this makes him one of the greats, for sure. Just took a dive into his discography and wanted to talk about some of the songs that I like and, some of my all-time favorite songs and maybe some lyrics. One of my favorite artists, since back in middle school when I started listening to him and, Young Money records and him and Lil Wayne and Birdman and this one just kind of took me back to my middle school days, high school days. Way back into his mixtape days, Room for Improvement, which was one, Comeback Season, and So Far Gone. I think most people would recognize So Far Gone. These were released in 2006, 2007, and 2009, respectively, featuring tracks like Video Girl. I remember I really liked that song, and listening back to it now, I'm like, why did I ever listen to this song? Because, sorry, Drake, but not the greatest song you've put out there. And there's also Underdog and That one I actually really liked. I think I had it like on a CD, and I don't even know how I got it on there. And I didn't even know who Drake was at the time. So I think I just got a CD from a friend, and it was one of those blank silver like CDs, and it didn't have any writing on it, and it just had like, there was like a whole bunch of different artists. There was like Blink 182 on there and Drake, and none of it meshed, but I don't know, that's what I listened to on the bus. So it kind of takes me back. Moving forward to the So Far Gone mixtape that has songs like Successful and Uptown featuring Bun B and Lil Wayne. All these songs, some of those songs, actually, I still listen to Successful and Uptown. I can still listen to that these days in 2020, and it's awesome. I don't know if it's a nostalgic thing, but I still enjoy those songs. So give those songs a listen if you have not already. But all of these songs, I think he had like 60 songs throughout those 3 mixtapes. Plus, he was featured on a lot of other songs with Lil Wayne and with other artists, and through that Young Money record label. All these things leading up to his first studio album in 2010 titled Thank Me Later, featuring songs, and this is when he got a little bit more traction, I think, with songs like Over and Find Your Love and Best I Ever Had. I think that song is really what put him more on the mainstream map, because I think that one was on the radio, and so was like Find Your Love, which I don't think many of the other songs earlier were really out there on the radio like that. So those kind of started his upward trajectory. Let me get a little sip here. Fast forward a couple years here, and he came out with songs like with Lil Wayne on his album. I think it was another mixtape, but Headlines and HYFR, Hell Yeah, Fucking Right. And those songs, I think I was like a freshman in high school, and I first heard those songs, and it was like the YouTube, and it might have been like a little bit like edited, like the pitch was a little bit too high or too low or something, but I still that was the only way that I could find the songs. So without having to, without paying for them. And I mean, I was 15 and I don't think I had a job yet. No, at least not a steady job to be able to pay for music subscriptions. But yeah, those songs came out, and then that's when I was like a true Drake fan. Like 9th grade, like him and Lil Wayne were coming out with all these songs. I'm on that good cushion alcohol. Oh yeah, that was my jam back in the days. I think that was like junior or senior year of high school. But man, and then he just keeps coming out with the hits year in, year out. God's Plan, that was more recent. But something that I really wanted to mention here was God's Plan. If you have not watched the music video for that, please go watch the music video because it's awesome. The budget for the music video, and it says it in the beginning, was almost $1 million. $996,631.90. And most of this money, if not all of it, was given away. It was all given away and you can see it in the video. And that's another thing that after a while, because I stopped listening to what album was it that I stopped listening to Drake? I didn't really listen to too much. No, I've always listened to Drake. Because he just keeps coming out with the hits, got his head in the clouds. Nothing Was the Same. Take Care. If you're reading this, is too late. Just hits after hits after hits, dude. But God's Plan came out, and he was, giving all this money away, like stacks of cash, giving it to parents, teens planning on attending college, shopping sprees for people in the music video, giving away cars. It's awesome. It gives me chills like watching the video, just giving back to the community, which is great. And I mean, maybe it was like, a tax write-off or something. Not sure, but at least he was just giving it to people, and there was just something cool about that really, really stuck with me. And I mean, he's been in the rap game for a long while, and at the level that he's been at for a long while, I feel like few others have made it to the top, and stayed at that top, at that peak. But he's always on the next wave, the next chapter, new sounds, new styles. He's looking for, except for that Tootsie slide. I don't know about that one. We all know he was capping on that one for the TikTok videos, because TikTok was making a huge explosion right around that time, and it got everybody dancing. So I guess from a social media culture perspective, his mind was in the right place. Drake is, if you don't know who Drake is, I don't know what to say to you, because this man has been putting out hits for several years. Oh, over a decade now, dude. Yeah, over a decade now. And you really don't have any excuse to not know who he is. One of the more popular rap hip hop influencers in the game these days. So let me get a little sip. Bump yourself some Drake, even just Drake's like top hits, and you'll find something that you like. He's got everything from the sad and more in your feelings, like the Take Care album, that features his most popular song off that album. I think the song also titled Take Care, and that's featuring Rihanna, which I know him and her have had a past, and I forgot to mention Hotline Bling, dude. When Hotline Bling came out, I remember I was in college, and dude, that song was played every single day. I heard that song at least once a day, and it was not in my headphones. It was like coming from somebody's window, coming from the bar as you walk by, coming from like, your downstairs neighbor. Like everybody was playing that song. And then that music video as well, and his dance moves, and everybody was like trying to copy that. So I forgot about that one. Forgot to mention that one. But yes, Drake, the Sixth God, we appreciate you putting this out there into the ether. If you ever need an extra in a music video or something, or just like want to hang out, if you're ever in Seattle, hit your boy up. And you can hit me up as well. The GDO podcast email has seen some incoming emails, so thank you everybody that has been reaching out. That's gdopodcast@gmail.com. Follow the Instagram page at GDO podcast on IG to stay up to date with the new releases, new coffees gonna be doing, and be sure to tune in. Next episode dropping Monday, November 9th. Okay, set that on the calendar for the next Good Days Only podcast. And I'm excited. I'm excited to bring you guys a little bit more quality content, and just, be a little bit more thorough with everything that I want to put out there for y'all. As always, appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you. I know this one is a little bit longer today, but thanks for rocking with me, and let's keep it going. Let's keep the good times rolling. All right. Sorry, I know I'm rambling. Let me get a little sip, and then let's get out of here. All right. Cheers, everybody. Love y'all. Peace.